Hi, I'm Robbie Conaway, the owner of Pop Art Films LLC, and I'm a freelance media producer. I'm what you would call a generalist. I wear many hats in the process of doing my job, from strategy to planning to storyboarding to directing, filming, drawing, animating, 3D modeling, compositing, editing, and color correcting. I'm also a business owner who has to do his own accounting, invoicing, marketing, and advertising to make sure I have as steady a stream as possible with new and existing clients. Being freelance is fantastic in that you get to decide where, when, and with whom you want to work. However, it also means that at the beginning, everything rests on your shoulders to make sure you can pay your bills. In my opinion, being a creative as a profession just can't be beat in terms of job satisfaction, but that doesn't mean that there aren't many days that are really boring or unpleasant that you still have to deal with. I got my start in this field because I was in a rock band back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yes, I'm pretty ancient. Since we were a struggling band signed to a very small record label, we had to do everything ourselves, and this included making marketing material of all kinds. As the visually creative guy in the band, I was nominated to take on that aspect of getting our name out there. This led to learning photography, which led to cinematography, which led to filmmaking, which led to visual effects, which led to animation, and on and on. Over the course of 18 years, I've amassed quite a bit of skill and knowledge by just following where my curiosity led me and always reminding myself that if someone else can learn how to do this stuff, then so can I. Maybe not as easy or quickly, but eventually. So persistence is definitely key, I think, and that learning never ends. New software and technology is constantly coming out, and you need to stay up to date in your field or you'll get left behind. My projects may come to me from ad agencies I reach out to on LinkedIn or through word of mouth, or a former client may recommend me to a new prospective client. As time goes on, your network of clients expands exponentially, and you can afford to raise your prices and also pick and choose the projects that you want to work on more than others. Typically, it all starts with a first meeting where I just stay quiet and listen. Occasionally, I ask questions to find out exactly what their problem might be, what they're looking for, and whether or not I may or may not be a good fit for their needs. Above all, I'm there to help them, whether it's me doing the work or recommending someone else. That goes a long way to building trust. And once you have that, communication can flow much more freely, and both of you will be happier with the end product. After the first meeting, I may draw up a basic outline and estimate of the work and cost based on what we've discussed. Then we have a second meeting to discuss the timeline and budget. Based on their comfort level, we'll either decide to proceed, alter the plan to fit their budget, or we may just shake hands and part ways. But if all goes well, then I'll send them a contract that spells out what my responsibilities are and a timeline of the things that I'm going to deliver to them, how many revisions they get, etc., and finally the price for the project. If they agree and sign the contract, which always includes a 50% upfront of the total price, then and only then do I get to finally get to the creative work. This often is storyboarding work to get an idea of the shots and the scope and pacing the media piece that we're planning on creating. Once the storyboarding is approved, then I move on to the planning of the shoot and everything that might entail. Shot lists give me a list of all the scenes and shots we need to get to complete the project. They're organized by location for convenience, even if it's out of order for the story. Also, actors may need to be hired, gaffers or lighting experts may need to be hired, a second DP or director of photography, meaning cinematography, may also need to be hired. Everyone has to be available on the same shoot days that are planned as well. So there's that to think about. Props, equipment, and even food or catering may have to be planned for the day. There's a lot that goes into it, and most of it involves planning. After it's all filmed and I go back to my studio with a hard drive filled with the raw footage, I finally begin the creative process of editing. I use Premiere Pro for editing, Maya 3D to create 3D models of stuff that doesn't exist, and After Effects to composite it or place it in the footage. After a rough edit is created, I send it back to the client to make sure we're on the right path and there isn't anything major that needs to be changed. Then there'll probably be another round or two of changes to get it just right for the client. Most clients are pretty reasonable, but in your career, there will definitely come a time when you encounter a nightmare client who expects far too much for far too little. In these cases, it's better to just cut your losses and move on from working with them. But after the work is finally approved, I send them the invoice for the remaining balance and start working on the next project that I hopefully have already lined up. It's more common in the creative industry to have many peaks and valleys. So when it comes to how busy you are, it's better if you can find a few ways to make money from different people and places, or passive sources of income as a steady flow of money to cover the times when work is not coming in. I have a small local video production where another guy and I do photos and videos for local businesses, social media posts, and advertising. We set up a subscription service and use that as a reliable baseline income that is steady while I look for and execute the bigger, more exciting projects with the bigger clients. Remember, you might be doing great now, but it's very possible that it could dry up and suddenly you have no money coming in, which might lead to having to take a terrible 9-to-5 desk job selling insurance or flipping burgers. And I'm pretty sure nobody really wants that. Everyone goes into the digital creative space because we're inspired and find it very exciting and fulfilling to make stuff all day. But just remember that it's normal to have to do a bunch of boring business stuff in order to do the fun stuff. Don't be discouraged if business is slow at first. It takes time. Just keep networking, planning ahead, posting on social media to advertise yourself, and most importantly, just keep making things. The only way you're going to get better and get more clients is to build your skills through constantly creating stuff in your field, whether you're getting paid or not. Just keep making stuff and trust the process. Good luck.